Hoyana has caused public outrage. Hoyana was killed allegedly by Fritz Joubert on a farm near Gonubie in the Eastern Cape at the weekend. It's understood that Joubert was later shot and killed by police. It's believed Hoyana was training Joubert to be a sangoma. We now cross to our reporter who's in the Eastern Cape for us, Busisiwe Jemsana-Mantashe, to give us an update on this story. Busisiwe, over to you.
A very good afternoon, Nompu. We are coming to you outside Fritz Joubert's farm. It is currently a crime scene, and we've spoken to the family. The details surrounding his Anele's death are still very sketchy as to whether or not he was training Fritz Joubert to be a sangoma. Is something that the family is not sure of at this point. We did speak to some residents and some who worked for Fritz because, you know, Nompu, since this news broke, there's been this outrage, the debate about race in the country. And we spoke to one gentleman who was working for Fritz, who was saying that he worked for him for about 5 years, and that through the 5 years he was a loving person, who he never saw him as someone who was racist, someone who paid his workers well, and that they were happy to work for him. And it is within this week that they started to see a difference in his behavior, and that now they had difficulty connecting to him or talking to him when they needed things. This is the period where we are told that they had Anele was practicing a ceremony with Fritz, and Fritz was also game for that ceremony, but then they had difficulty. They were not able to talk to him. They were told that no, there's still this ceremony, you must not talk to Fritz. And then it is then that he started having these anger issues on Saturday. On Friday, we are told that he started to see some muti in his room, and he started getting angry, not calling everyone, outraged, and this is when this thing happened. But right now, Nompu, I'm joined by police spokesperson in the Eastern Cape, Brigadier Thembi Nkosi Kinana. Brigadier, thank you so much for your time. A lot has been said, the details, this and that. What can you tell us with the information that you have? What led to the killing of Anele?
Let me begin by saying that on Saturday we were called to this farm that is just behind us to say that there was an argument and somebody was being assaulted and kids were being kept, captive in one of the rooms within the farm. Then the police immediately responded to the call, and on arrival, indeed, they found Mr. Hoyana lying down, and it seemed he was already passed on. And at that time, the kids were still locked in one of the rooms. The police, our priority when we got here was to make sure that we rescue the kids that were allegedly locked in the room. Indeed, we got hold of the keys from Mr. Fritz, and that's when the struggle started, because he was kind of resisting, handing over the keys so the police could have access, to the room. But we managed to rescue the kids, and during the struggle, because he was also armed, and then there was also a shooting incident which actually led to him, being shot as well. So we are investigating all the circumstances in terms of why this whole thing started on Saturday. But what we are learning is that there was a good relationship between Mr. Fritz and the gentleman that he was staying with and the family. But as I have already indicated, we are investigating the circumstances that are surrounding the whole issue.
And the whole debate that is going on about him being racist, about race having a play in this, we're also getting information that upon the arrival of the police, he said he does not want black police officers referencing to them with the K word. Do we have information on that?
As I have already alluded earlier, we are investigating all these allegations. Remember, investigation will take its course. We are talking to different people, to the locals, in terms of verifying certain information that we have managed to gather so far. And we are hoping to get at the bottom of every detail that we have gathered so far in terms of making sure that we expedite our investigation. We can't make any speculation so far in terms of whether there are racial elements involved in the case, but we are making sure that we are looking at every aspect of our investigation to make sure that we give a suitable outcome. Yes.
Another information that we're getting on the ground, Brigadier, is that the deceased Mr. Fritz Joubert was also involved in another criminal incident of this nature. And the allegation is that he murdered someone in Bloemfontein. Are you in a position to confirm that incident, or if there are any other pending cases that are similar to this one?
So far, we do not know if there are any pending cases, but we do know that there were cases that were associated with him in the past. But in terms of what is happening, the circumstances in those cases is what we cannot tell at this point in time.
Are they related to serious crimes like murder?
I would not say they are related, but the information that at our disposal at the moment suggests that he was also involved in some of the cases, but the nature of the cases is what we cannot talk about at this point in time.
Brigadier, thank you so much for your time. Brigadier Tembinkosi Kinana, they're saying that there are cases that they've heard of that involve Fritz Joubert in the past, but do not have the information right now as to what type of cases those were, if there were murder cases, because there is an allegation that he did murder someone a few years ago in Bloemfontein, where he originates from. We've also tried to get hold of the ex-wife of Mr. Fritz. We understand that he divorced about 2 years ago, the mother of his children, but she, unfortunately, those attempts were in vain, as she does not want to speak to any media at this point and is not comfortable, and we are told that it is still a very painful, sensitive topic for her to be talking about. We are continuing to talk to various people across, those who worked for him, those who stayed nearby him, but at this point, right behind me, the farm is empty. There is no one inside. We are told his family is in Bloemfontein, and he was planning on having a game reserve farm inside, and that partnership was to be he was to partner with the late Anele Hoyana, and indeed the information we have is that they had a very close relationship with Anele, and in fact some of the residents that we spoke to and the people who work here are saying that Anele came to live with Fritz Joubert about a month ago after he had a disagreement with his family, and then he moved here with his fiancée and their 2 children. In fact, it was 1 child at the time. She only gave birth about 4 weeks ago when they moved in with Fritz, and that he offered him a place to stay and also offered him a job. So he was working for Mr. Fritz and getting odd jobs there and there to try and have something to put on his table at the end of the month. How it then led to what then happened on that Saturday is something that the police and everyone is trying to figure out.
Thanks very much, Busisiwe, for that report.